Okay, got it.
Oh,
All right.
I want to see your face. We got to see your face first.
Well, wait a minute. Why aren't you seeing my face? Oh,
I
because I didn't do this. Well, I wonder why that goes off like that. I mean, I had it on just a moment. I had it on just a moment ago. So how are you?
I'm doing good. You may not remember, but the last time I saw you was right after Boston Lakers for an ABC party. And you had your little William Shatner badge on. Someone from ABC escorted you. We were in West Hollywood at the Abbey. And you were so very, very nice to me. I still tell this story to the day to everybody when the last time I met William Shatner. And it was an honor because not only have you been an influence with us, I love what you're doing for the Webb Awards because I really treasured that. And as an African American,
Really?
my a lot of my friends are in the military, are in police officers. So for me, that's special. And I just got to North Carolina, or else I was
Well,
going to be there.
that's beautiful. Because it can be a touchy subject about, yes, I really like the police and they're human beings. I mean, what people seem to forget is that these individuals who are exactly like you and me come out of schools or whatever they come from and say, I think I'd like to be a police officer. They're just you, they're you and me. So they go through some months of training. Here's how you shoot a gun. Here's what you do in this situation. And if somebody's shooting at somebody, you run forward while everybody's running away. What? Yes, your job is to go forward, not backward. Now, that's all right to say, and it's all right to practice. But as a human being, you're going, what? I've got to go shoot that guy and he's shooting at me and I could die. Or worse, I could get crippled. So we're talking about unusual individuals who are not appreciated enough when things go right. It's when things go wrong as human beings, as I can testify, the innumerable things go wrong with human beings because human error is the common denominator. But when things go right, we don't celebrate it enough. And we only see it when it goes wrong. And it goes wrong on occasion, but mostly the police are there and they're trying their best and they're human beings like you and me. That's really my spiel. One more thing
Go ahead.
that I essentially am practicing on you to give my spontaneous remarks on Saturday. When we shot T.J. Hooker, the 5 years I shot T.J. Hooker, almost every Friday night we'd go to downtown LA to shoot some scenes down there. Why Friday night? Maybe the city was emptied. I don't know, or it was a union thing. I'm not sure. But Friday night, as it got dark, T.J. Hooker was shooting. Now that's a rough area, still is, of course.
Yeah.
So we'd be surrounded by police protection, and then there are police all over the place, and I've got a uniform on, and so I look like I'm a policeman. We'd shoot, and then 1, 2, or 3 in the morning, we'd come home. There was one moment when there had been a stabbing in the group, the people who were surrounding us looking at the shooting. Somebody got stabbed, like it was a dangerous place. So, with that in mind, I got into a limo to take me home. Now, I'm in a limo in downtown LA, leaving LA, and I'm going back to the safety of my home. And in a moment, as I was leaving the downtown area, under a lamplight that looked like a painting, so there was the light was overhead, there was a freeze of a bad guy, like with I think he might have had a knife in his hand, and and he was posed in an action pose, and then there was a policeman who also was in an action pose with his hand beside his revolver. In that freeze, in that moment, was everything a policeman is. The danger they face, the things they have to do, and I don't know the resolution of that. I left, but that image is always in my mind as a picture of what uniformed policemen do.
The interesting thing is that's the image that I have of you when you walked into the Abbey. I always tell people he walked in and was just very gracious and he had his name tag on. It's like, it's not like anybody didn't know who you were, but I thought that was really cool and I never forgot that. And the other thing, Will, is are you sure you're 90? You look really good. What's going on with that?
Well, I think people, I think there was a mistake on my birth certificate. I'm from Montreal, and they make these terrible mistakes. So I think they're 20, 30. It's a one became a five. Or no, I am what I am. I get that quite a bit, and I don't know the answer to that. Good genetic structure, I think, more than anything else. Although, I smoked 30, 40 years ago
Wow.
and haven't since, and I don't really drink, and I'm eat in a healthy fashion, so maybe that all has to do with it. And I've been lucky. My health has been lucky.
Well, the other thing is, I know from I marched in a drum and bugle corps, so for me, the military aspect of things is good. That comes into police officer, because it comes into firemen also. So I like that structure. I grew up in a different time, just like how you did. So it's one of those things I still honor that tradition, if that makes sense. So again, I'm in North Carolina. I got here. I'm just helping out a friend, or else I would be there this weekend to do that. But I like
Oh,
this aspect of thing because it is important to doing that. And I like a lot of the people that were going to be there, like Frank Lutz and a couple other people. That to
oh,
me
that's
is
amazing.
important.
You should know them. I lost a gentleman who was working for me. He left town, and I was looking for somebody to help me generally around the house. And because of some previous experience, I went up to a firehouse near on Mulholland, up several blocks from me. But the people who take care of the area I'm in, the firehouse that and I went to the police to the fire chief there, and I said, I'm looking for somebody, and they're off hours. If they wish to do part-time work, I've got part-time work for them, and if they want to apply, and I gave them the. So this guy called, John called, and John Raskin and I have become good friends. He's a fireman, firefighter. He's around the house when he's not working up at the firehouse. He can do anything. He can repair anything. He's stalwart. He's like your hero. He's like something out of a movie. This firefighter, he's your essence of a firefighter. He's tall and lean and got a handsome look, a craggy look about him. And he can fix cars, machines, trees. I mean, he's an extraordinary individual. And I admire and really like him a lot. And he's very happy talking to me. So we've had a great relationship the last several years.
Well, the other thing about why this is important for the Webb Awards. Did you ever meet when it comes to Jack Webb? Did you ever meet him?
I might have met Jack Webb. I don't know. It's been a long time. I
Yeah.
must have met him because he was very popular, and I think he was a little before my time, if that's possible, if there was a before my time. But I must have met him, and I think he talked like that anyway. I mean, that's the way he talked.
Uh-huh.
That staccato voice, that was him. Just a fact.
So
Yeah.
no, when you exactly, there's always that great line. It's funny. During lockdown, I went back to watch all of the Twilight Zone episodes. I'm like, I'm never gonna go back to watch that. So it's always about the books of reading because I love to help people who write books. It's always about books. But then I can think of 3,000 feet above the air and you in that airplane scene, and that still holds up because it's still about that spookiness. And I always tell people when you're doing movies and things like that, it's what you don't see that scares you.
See, that's a writer's. That's beautiful. That's your writer's mind. It's exactly right. That's what's really great about this show that I'm doing, The Unexplained. It's the ooga booga factor. It's the fact that you don't know it. Something is unexplained. It's out there. Here's what it does, and why it's there, I don't know. But explained. It's fascinating that it's unexplained, and that's what's the charm of the show, and I believe the charm of those Twilight Zones that I was a part of. It's what you don't. The other one I did was getting predictions from a machine. You got to go there. You're going to go there. But if you go there, and all of a sudden your life isn't your own, and what has fate got in store with you in store for you in the next 5 minutes? So it's all the ooga booga of the unknown, and that makes the best stories. Just what you're saying.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to? And as Chef Rachel Roberts, one of my co-hosts, Bill, I can't do this without my co-host. So it's one of those things. It's all about women. They make you look good. So what is it about that you look forward to seeing this weekend? Some of these people, because it's,
Well, I'm sort of embedded in the police department in a way. I'll tell you another secret that I haven't told anybody. I haven't even told the police people. Every Christmas, I go to the local deli and I buy, maybe 2 dozen bagels, lots of fish and meat, smoked meat and pastrami and cheese and stuff like that on a big platter. And I bring it into the North Hollywood police station. And I have to knock on the door and they let me in. Who are you? And I said, this is for everybody to munch on in the next couple of days. And Merry Christmas to you guys. And I leave. I've been doing that for, I don't know, 30 years more. Last year, they had buttoned it up even more because of the things going on. And so I was met outside by a police officer and he said, yes. And I said, I've got this platter for everybody. And he said, oh, it's you. They've been wondering who this mysterious person has been all these years, bringing bagels and lox to the police department. They didn't know some mysterious person is coming. And this police officer said, oh, it's you.
That's funny. Well,
it was so rewarding.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know why Rachel isn't there, but she's all about cooking garden from fresh, and she's one of my co-hosts, Bill.
Well, we'll go in search of her.
All right, Rachel, ask your question.
Oh, I heard. So if you can hear me, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I don't know why the video is not turning on, but I heard you like sushi and Mexican food, which I love both. I read this about you, and so I saw this something about you combined the two a few years ago. What was all that about?
I don't know. I forgot that. All I know is last night I had some of the best sushi I've ever tasted with a couple of friends of mine, my wife and these two guys who are dealing in grief, and their profession is grief counseling.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't grief last night. It was celebration of how good sushi can be. A local place in Los Angeles that is really superb.
What's the name of it? We're going out there soon.
Is that right? Well, I can't think of the name, but if you talk to you're talking to Kathleen, aren't you, at my office? She'll give you the name and the address.
All right.
On Ventura Boulevard.
Bill, when I had my horse ranch, I was immediately thinking of you if you still had it in Kentucky, because our horses were with the world of dressage. And that was special for me because horses and autism and helping kids, that was really special to me. What was when you were on your ranch, when you weren't working, what did that do to your mental state of being?
Well, it's not so much that, my dear. It is here in Los Angeles. I run a charity program. I have a charity that I've been putting on. I mean, it's not like my name is on it. I do the work. In this last 10 years with Kathleen, she's helped me. So with me and whoever is my assistant at that time, and it's been Kathleen for 12 years, really, we put on a charity show called the Hollywood Charity Horse Show, which celebrates hippotherapy, which is what you're talking about. We donate the funds that we raise, and I've raised $400,000 or $500,000 a year for 30 years. Wow. Millions of dollars have been raised to help children and veterans charities, most of which are hippotherapeutic, which the act of getting on a horse, and of course it's labor intensive. There's somebody leading the horse, somebody on either side of the person whose balance is suspect. And just the idea of getting on a horse, the motion of the horse, the magnificence of the horse, the fact that you're in control of the horse, the fact that you're using your body. I've seen miracles. I've seen kids who couldn't talk.
Absolutely.
Who couldn't move, walk. I mean, it's been miraculous. whoever it was that said the outside of the horse is good for the inside of a man. That's what is really, for me, the extraordinary part. When I leave you here this morning, I'm going out to a valley about 30 miles from here where my horses are being trained. I'm still competing. I'm a reiner. Do you know what that is, reining horse?
Yeah,
So
good. Yeah.
I compete. This Hollywood Charity Horse Show is a reining show. The proceeds of which, every penny of which, goes to the veterans and crippled kids, handicapped kids, and I'm still on a horse whenever I'm not doing anything else.
Nice, incredible.
So we just lost Nichelle Nichols, and I was with her in 2016 with Hollywood Film Festival doing some things called Unbelievable. We wanted to get this movie out going.
When was the last time you saw her?
That was about that time.
16.
16, yeah.
That's 6 years ago.
Yeah. What's a favorite memory that you have of her?
Kissing that beautiful woman.
Thought so.
Yeah. She deteriorated over the years. So
Yep.
she was gone. She wasn't herself for many years,
Right.
and she sort of disappeared from view. So for everybody, it's been a long time since we saw her.
When you think back to you being that Golden Globe and that Emmy winner, what do you look back at those now? Because Boston Legal is still one of the best shows out there. David E. Kelley, that writing, fabulous. I watched every episode. I think there was only 3 episodes out of that were just okay, and they were still good. Every episode was great.
Yeah. David E. Kelley is a genius. As you probably know, he won an Emmy for comedy and won an Emmy for drama in the same year, one year. I mean, he's an extraordinarily talented individual and very removed. Barely ever saw him. He would stay at home and write and come down to the set every so often and not make an announcement. He might come in and never say he was there and be gone. And somebody would say, Kelley was here. What? And he was here and gone. But he did one remarkable thing that will remain in my memory, and that is he loves, I presume, fishing. So he'd go for salmon fishing in Canada every year, and he had a place that he went to. Well, he wrote an episode of Boston Legal.
I remember that.
We went fishing, and I had to use a shotgun to try to get a fish. That was him taking the whole crew and cast up to his fishing place in northern British Columbia.
Wow.
And that was an extraordinary moment for all of us.
We got about 4 minutes left. Rachel, you got a question for Bill?
All right, tell us about the event that's going on this week.
It's a gala for the LAPD Museum. The museum here is an incredibly colorful place, which is popular for tourists, and it should be popular for everybody. Citizens of the city should be going there as well. It celebrates the moments that were great for the LAPD. It's historical. It's a great moment. It also is they haven't had it for 3 years. This is the first time in 3 years because of COVID. They celebrate people in the administration or the police officers themselves who have contributed a great deal to the city. So this year, it's Steve Robinson, Frank Lentz, and Senator Bob Hertzberg, and I'm hosting it with the police chief, Michael Moore. It's a fundraiser for the museum. It celebrates some individuals who were very brave or very, very kind to the city.
And Bill, you can't get out of here because this is Movie Reviews and More. If you had to pick one movie and one song, if you had to, what would it be? For me, it would be It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and or Enter the Dragon. And my favorite song is always Ain't Talking About Love with Van Halen. If you had to pick a movie and a song and a TV show, what might that be for you?
Well, there was a great writer who wrote a song called So Fragile, So Blue, which became very popular this year. In fact, it was sung at the Kennedy Center this last month. Do you know it? It was written by Shatner and I entertained. I entertained at the Kennedy Center about a month ago, and we had written some songs for the occasion. So I sang in front of a 70-piece orchestra. It was really an extraordinary occasion. The best movie, there've been so many great movies, and I can only remember the one. Oh gosh, the Arab, the great movie,
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia. That was for me a foundation movie. It was a movie that has great vision and history and excuse me and great. It was a motion picture. I love internal movies. I just saw one with a kid and a guy who lost his lost his tools. What do you call it in the Catholic religion when teenage kids get confirmed? Confirmed. It's called Confirmed. It's a beautiful little movie I just saw the other day. Incredible small movie. I made one a couple of years ago. Small movie, wonderful script called Senior Citizen. And
I love that.
it was just a joy to do.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a good movie. And this other one, so there's a difference between one of these grand movies where billions, millions of dollars are spent on it, and these vistas, and you're transported to another world that isn't make-believe. It's a real, well, I mean, the story's make-believe, but the world itself that's being exhibited isn't make-believe. It's valid. The sand is really there. The heat waves, that shot with the heat waves coming up and you can't tell who's riding in, was a magical shot. I mean, what a discovery that was for that man to make that shot.
All right, Bill, we got 2 minutes. What made you get into acting? Do you remember a movie that you saw that made you get into acting? And what was it like to go to space? And what's your advice for these new actors coming in? Because I tell people who come to California, don't come to California unless you got 6 months rest, because it's expensive out here and it's a different world. This isn't the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early O's. You've got to be prepared these days.
Absolutely. So you want all three subjects in 2 minutes. That's 90 seconds per subject. Young people coming into the business today, very few people have a background in theater and a background in the discipline of being an actor. I gave an acting class, not an acting class, a class in actually it was an editing class, and somebody said, "I've got a question to ask you." "Oh, my computer is going out. I was going to ask you about how do you make a movie," or something like that. And I said, "Wait a minute. You've come to this class and you didn't charge your computer. That's the essence of what to do and not to do. You have to be prepared. You've got to prepare. Whatever you're going to do, prepare." That's the answer. And that may be the answer to all those questions you just asked me.
Yeah. All right. But you didn't say what film made you want to be an actor. Do you remember?
I was in a camp play when I was 6 years old. And what was written for me to say, and the way I said it, I guess, when the curtain went down and came up for the curtain calls, the audience was weeping. And I thought, my God, I've made that audience cry. And then later on, my father, because it was 2 weeks in a camp, picked me up, my boy Bill. And I thought, my God, my dad's giving me this praise. And since I was 6 years old, I never did anything else. I never did anything else. I wrote, to write, produced, whatever, but I've never taken an insurance check. I've never driven a cab. I never waited tables. I was always acting, doing something as an actor. It never occurred to me not to be an actor.
But you did go to space finally.
And then I finally went to space. And that in itself was monumental. And as I say, I wrote a song, So Fragile, So Blue, about the experience. And the last phrases of that song is, "What can we do? What can we do? What can we do?" And the 70-piece orchestra ends in a flourish.
All right, Bill. How can your fans reach out to you on your social media links? Because even I don't know.
I got all kinds of social, williamshatner.com, I believe. I mean, there's all kinds. Involved in. I've got people working in social media. I mean, I write and I suggest, but I mean, there are people who. I mean, I'm doing all kinds of things in social media. Reach out. I want to talk to you. I've got something so interesting happening that will be only available on my social media. Keep tuned.
Okay. And with that, I want to thank you. You made me laugh. And Rachel is really pretty, and she is really a home chef out of Houston, Texas. Too bad you couldn't see her.
She's
I don't know what
embarrassed.
happened, Rachel.
She's embarrassed.
Yes.
She's ashamed of herself.
Yeah, I'll have to come
What
to
did,
you
what
and
did
your
you
wife.
do last night, you naughty girl?
I'm gonna come cook for you.
You what?
I said I'm gonna come cook for you when I come out to LA in a few weeks.
What will you cook? What will you cook?
Mexican food. That's what you like, right?
Well, I have
Oh, well, I can cook
a
anything.
broad taste.
Okay.
I never remember whether the word Catholic means straight on, like very precise, or whether it's broad. I always thought it was like a broad spectrum. Having Catholic taste is to have a broad spectrum, but I'm told it was not. I don't quite remember I'm going to look it up right now as soon as we're finished.
That's a good one. I'm going to use that line. I have a Catholic taste.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, thank you so much. And I will make sure that a lot of people start, including myself, see what's going to be on the
It's a very special thing that I worked on it all day yesterday, as a matter of fact, for 12 hours yesterday. So it's happening soon, and I'll make that announcement very soon.
All right. So with that, this is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, iTube 247 out of Franklinton, Tennessee, and iHeartRadio, and the one and only William Shatner, and the Webb Awards. That's very, very important this week. And as I always say, if you see someone run out a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs it. Right, Bill?
Exactly. Laughter. We need to laugh.